Oh my god, I just spat. I just played basketball, so I'm pretty exhausted, so my throat has a lot of congestion, might be the right word. Conjunctivitis. It has a lot of saliva built up in my throat, trying to recover from all the heavy breathing that I did. This video I watched today before going to basketball practice about how to be, if you're lazy but creative, watch this video, was the title. And I love the video. Talked a lot about his story about being a lazy person, that he had a lot of stuff going on, but theoretically he had a bit of chunk of time that he could have always spent his time on working on videos, or in his case as photographer, taking photos, going out and taking photos of strangers. And he couldn't. The one time where he was free, he went to the city and just awkwardly took photos around the hip or just not taking photos in general. Which obviously led to poorer quality of videos, quality photos. And unfortunately, when that demoralized him from taking other photos. I got that. And so he put it off for a while, his passion of photography and using his camera, stored away in the dusty cabinet, till he went to a workshop about being a photographer. It was with this guy, I don't know his name, but they talked a bit about the logistics, networking, finding an editor, finding places to publish his photos, like on the news, because his goal was trying to be a photojournalist. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that detail. Whew. What? That ball throw was horrendous. Went to the workshop, he talked with the people, talked out some bit of networking, drive, where to publish your stuff, editing, editors, and they did talk about that. And then they said, okay, and then he said, okay, let's go shoot. And he was flabbergasted. Like, he couldn't actually sort of believe it. So he went out, didn't take much photos as well, until he just felt awkward enough to take photos. Because a professional photographer is right next to him taking photos, and he's not taking photos. So in that case, he is the awkward one. And that pushed him to take more photos and be the photojournalist he is today. Like 6 years later, I don't know. Well, his photo eventually got put into one of the New York Times article when he decided to travel abroad and take photos. What was his lesson? The fact that you have a bit of time. Make time for your passion. It doesn't matter if it's 1 hour, 30 minutes, 10 minutes. You could be doing something. You could be planning out a video. You could be recording a video. You could be editing a video. Even if it's 10 minutes, like, it gets you going. It forces you to make time. Today, I had no real reason to do anything until I realized I gotta publish the YN photos and try to edit it a bit, to polish it a bit, to make it seem usable for my guest, which is my guardian. He didn't even pay me this time because, look, bro, my photos were bad. And that's okay. You kind of have to suck for a while. Other video I watched was a short video about Naval Ravikant. I forgot his last name. Naval. Great philosopher. I think he's a public speaker. I forgot if he's an entrepreneur or not. But he's an amazing, smart guy. I listen to his podcast once in a while. But it's not even podcast. It's just 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes of short voice memos of him discussing whatever thoughts he had in his mind. The video I watched was, you have to really enjoy it. Anything you want to do in life, you have to enjoy it to some extent. You can't just start a thing without that joy. But of course, in a way, let's back it up. Most people, when starting out, let's say, let's start a podcast. They start the podcast, record a few episodes, and then stop. because there's no other purpose behind it. Like, did you like talking or not? Did you genuinely like conversing with other people or talking about whatever topics for an hour straight? Do you genuinely like the person you're talking with? Do you like the topic you're talking about? If not, okay, then of course this is not going to be the thing for you. You have to have the right intentions of, it's not joy. There has to be some sort of incentive behind it, not an external incentive of fame, rich, and money, but an internal one of loving to talk to people. And if it's more conversational, then you can go into more live networks. And every time I think of an advice, I relate it back to me. I thought this was something that I did, but funny enough, this is something everyone does. Anytime I'm sharing any sort of advice to other people, they're like, "Oh, are you talking about me?" And sometimes they say it in that grumbly voice, because sometimes the advice is a little bit direct. Sometimes it feels like it's these vague advices that can relate to everybody. It's just me explaining that, oh, even if you have 2 minutes, if this task takes 2 minutes to do, you might as well do it. I share it. They think, oh, is it because I haven't been cleaning lately? Like, no, I was just sharing what I thought was cool. And this other book I was reading, 4 Hour Work Week by Cal Newport. He describes this idea of deep work, of setting aside 4 hours in the times when you are most productive. Afternoon, morning, evening. Depends on the individual and their schedule and their family and their situation at the moment. Like, sometimes you come back from a 9-to-5 job and you do have to work after the work. But that work is something that you sort of enjoy and want to improve at. But 4 hours is a sweet spot for creative work where you perfectly use your mind for creativity without burning yourself while learning. And I have felt that, but it is a bit difficult when you're first starting out. Let's be honest, you don't have much time. For a YouTuber who wants to genuinely make it onto this space, you more or less have some other thing going on, college, school, or work. And during that other time, it's making videos. I'm starting to realize how much time you have for videos. Okay, back to the point, but I tell her about this 4-hour work week, and she felt challenged because she honestly hasn't had much time for her to do stuff creatively. She's like, "Oh, so are you telling me to ditch my family and do 4 hours?" Stop it. I'm not. This is just a fun advice that I heard and learned online that I want to apply to myself and share with others. In the prospect of dating, you sort of want to expose yourself as much as possible to sort of turn off the other person. But if they like that kind of individual, it works. If you're precisely the kind of weirdo who reads psychology newsletters or some other geographic books, or you have this weird hobby of knitting or maybe gardening, I wouldn't call those weird. They're kind of cool. Some people are gonna like that, some people aren't. When you're on the when you're presenting yourself as a dating prospect, you need to be unique. Not unique, but by presenting yourself as a whole, you get to see if they are for you or not. Because if they don't like it, if they don't like the fact that you read these animal newsletters or psychology newsletters, books, then they're probably not for you. Let's be honest. Oh man, for an actual brief moment, I was confident in my speech. And I got into an amazing flow of talking. But now I became self-aware. I'm starting to doubt it again. Look, in these moments, I actually do doubt myself. And nothing is wrong with that. It's more likely the teenagers, as myself, are going to continuously doubt each other and oneself. You can't expect a teenager to have full confidence. That's arrogance at that point. School is precisely the weird place where you can find your group and you can socially compare yourself if you wanted to, because that option is internal. You have the smart kids, you have the theater kids, you have the outcasts, you have the jocks, the athletes. It's sort of the same people, bro. Let's be honest. It's from what I've seen, in terms of both genders, boys are hanging out with these other nonchalant people who are also chill, confident, maybe a little bit egotistical, but that's how boys are. As for the women, girls, they tend to be dramatic, empathetic, stick together, and they actually do hang out after school. It's just kind of cool, bro. Like, I can't believe that you have dance right after school for 2 hours and you still want to hang out with your friends. And the fact that the other friend who has no other priorities is willing to wait 2 hours to go hang out with you. That's so sweet, bro. As for the boys, they're also really cool because they do support each other. They're not gonna judge you unless it's a joke. So in that case, it's very sweet. I'm not going to lie. Here, the community has its pros and cons. I would say it's a net positive. Despite everything, despite what the community itself thinks, it's pretty good. Even the adults, bro, they're pretty mature, very kind, and overall, most of the time, amazing people. This place is amazing, bro. Good night.